The day began like any other. No one could have foreseen how it would end up. No one could have foreseen the events that were going to take place. And no one could have predicted the drama and loss that would see a big man broken and a slightly smaller man shattered like a front windscreen on a CB. Day 4 would see us leaving Canberra en route to Bairnsdale. We'd do this via Barry Way, a 90-kilometre section of dirt that led out of Jindabyne. Barry Way would pop us out in a great position to visit McKillop's bridge before the final run into Bairnsdale.
Big wheel, free as the wind, with a mind like an open road. Got a room in the truck, picking up everybody. Let's head to a favourite show.
We headed off around 9:30. Our intention is to stop in Cooma for breakfast. It was absolutely freezing. I think the temperature gauge said about 3 degrees, but I can tell you with the wind chill factor, it was far worse than that. We had heard, and we would see later, that it had snowed around Jindabyne and along Barry's Way. Unfortunately at Cooma, we struck our first disaster. Poor Smithy had his bike fall over and smash his screen. This is what happens when you get split up by a car and say on the cardo we'll meet you at the service station. You go into the service station and even though they're dressed exactly like Troy and the guys, it's not Troy and the guys. Anyway, eventually we met up, filled up with fuel and we were ready to go. As we made our way along the bitumen towards the start of the dirt road onto Barry Way, you can clearly see all the snow laying in the surrounding area. A post on Facebook the previous day had said that the Barry Way track, the dirt part anyway, was passable on road tyres. We probably should have factored in that it had snowed, and of course snow turns to water, which turns dirt into mud, but we figured we'd give it a go. And so the dirt part of Barry Way began. Now, Acres, Dino and Mick had knobbies on their bike, so they were loving the dirt road. The rest of us, not so much, although I have to admit it was me that struggled the most and certainly slowed us down along this way. Some of the mud was as slippery as ice, let me tell you. Despite the conditions and having to concentrate really hard to keep the bike upright, I did manage to look at some of the view, and this road was absolutely spectacular. This was certainly a road that I'd love to come back and do on my DRZ. As we wound our way along, you can see by the footage that the weather changed. 1 minute it was sunny, next it was raining, we actually even had some snow, then it was back to sunny again. This certainly kept us on our toes. Despite also being on road tyres, Stano seemed to be making light work of it all, although we were worried that he might come off, because if he did, he might damage the coffee machine, fridge, washing machine, dishwasher, clothesline and everything else he had built into the GS for the trip. Smithy and I decided to make a quick stop here to wait for the guys. Everyone arrived, but it took Acres a long time to get there. We weren't sure where he was or what was going on. It turned out he'd had an incident. Anyway, I'll let Troy tell the story. So, I'd already taken some great shots with the Neo. I'd taken some photos back at the snow with the boys, and I thought, well, I'm going to get some of this beautiful snowy river. So I pulled up on the KTM and I got the Neo out and I just sent it. And I sent it. And I went out over the water and then it came back. And then as I went to catch it, it pissed off. And I went out and it hit a rock and went into the water. And I'm like, well, I'm a man of action. So I stripped off and I went in after it because I was not losing footage because I'd seen what happened to the last guys that lost footage and I didn't want that to be me. So I went in and I lost the footage. I couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, how was I supposed to know that you couldn't fly it over water? Anyway.
Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
This town, it's mighty tough. This town fights when times get rough.
Finally off Barry Way, we set our sights on McKillop's bridge. Similar to Barry Way, this was a narrow winding road around the mountain. We were later told it was said to be one of the most dangerous roads to drive in the country. There were certainly parts that were so narrow there was no way to turn around if you met another vehicle.
This town has an attitude. Takes off more than it can chew. And if you're in a fighting mood, this town will take a bite out of you. So if you're looking for a feud, this town is tough and making moves.
It was definitely worth the trip and was an amazing sight to behold. What a beautiful country we live in. Finally it was time to move on and make the run into Bairnsdale. We'd left it late and had a real risk of animals on the roads. As it was, I was nearly taken out by a wallaby and Stano a wombat. Darkness fell as we pushed on, and Dean kept us updated regarding his rapidly diminishing fuel range. We honestly didn't think he was going to make it. However, 10.5 hours after leaving Canberra, we arrived, and all we wanted to do was sleep.
Now you say you're lonely. You cry the whole night through. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. I cried a river over you.